Welcome back, mamas. Well, it is summer. It is summer, and we are into the thick of it already. And I have something pretty fun for you guys. I believe is going to help you to take the burden that you might be feeling about summer and turn it more into a blessing. I think it will be exciting. I think it was fun. It's an activity you can do with your kids that I believe will bring you joy all summer long. So let's get to it. Do you wish you had control of your days, that you had a rhythm, but instead feel overwhelmed, scattered, and like there's never enough time? You're in the right place. I'm Danielle, a recovering workaholic, wife, and stay-at-home mom of 2 girls. I've learned how to reclaim my time and find purpose and freedom so I can be present with my kids and feel like myself again. Here, we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. So if you're ready to trade the chaos for clarity, the guilt for grace, and the endless to-do list for aligned flow, grab the kiddos a snack and toss in that laundry because I know you're multitasking, and let's do this because your time, your purpose, and you matter. Okay, mamas, so I want to talk to you today about reframing your summer break. Now, I know if you're anything like me, like I absolutely love summer, always have. It's a time of fun, right? Fun in the sun. I love how the daylight stays light longer. But if you have decided that you want to do something for yourself, you are stir crazy, you are unhappy a bit with choosing this stay-at-home mom gig, and you are unsettled with it. You aren't necessarily unhappy about it. This is what you want. It is definitely what you want. But now it's summer and preschool is no longer, and all the kids are home, and you are like, okay, how am I going to do anything for myself? Because even when they were in preschool, I couldn't get stuff done, right? Like, so now that they're here all day long and it's summer and that comes with pressure and all of this. And I don't know if you listened last week, but if you did not, go back and listen to last week's episodes because we talked about creating a boundary for yourself. And then we also talked about setting an intention for your day. So if you do those two things, I believe that your days will go differently in the summer. I'm going to start with a quote, and this quote is from Chris Grosser, and it says, "Opportunities don't happen, you create them." Opportunities don't happen, you create them. And I want to talk about reframing this summer burden that we can feel, right? Like we can feel this like comparison, whether or not you have vacations planned for the summer, whether or not you have, all of these things that you are wanting to do, or maybe that you feel like you're supposed to do this summer. And I want to reframe that and say, listen, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. Like what is important to you? Prioritize with purpose, right? So figure out what is important to you and to your children, and then create fun times around that. Create things that you can do around that. So, the first thing, setting an intention for your day, right? That will help you with this. But I also want to talk about making a bucket list for this summer. So, I currently am working with someone, and this is a recommendation I made to her. And I was like, this is something that everyone can use. And this is just creating something that is going to be a list of things that you have maybe talked to your kids about, maybe you haven't, maybe it's things that would be important to you and would spark joy for you, and maybe it's a combination of things that would spark joy for the whole family, for the kids, and then allow you to have some fun with the kids. Or maybe it is also just a few things that are on this bucket list for just you, right? And so you can create this list of things you want to do. And when you set that intention for your day and you have this list of things to pull from, then a lot of times what can happen in the summer, right? Like we have more bodies like wanting our attention all of the time. We have more possible pressure, as I mentioned before, from things that we feel like we should be doing, right? But really, I want you to sit and take some time and feel like, what is important to me? To really think about what is important to me and to my family. What do we want to do? What creates joy for us? It may be some of the things, and I'm going to give you some things that you can think about, but it might help you reframe this summer burden and turn it into summer blessing, right? And for me, like I said, I have always loved the summer, but I can get caught up in that too, right? Like I can get caught up in when you hear all these moms all the time talking about how they cannot wait for summer to be over when you get to the end, right? And for me, it's always like bittersweet because the time that I have to devote to my work, I would like that back, but I do not want my kids to go back to school. Like I love having them at home. I love all the fun that comes along with summer. And so I want to read a quote from Willie Nelson that says, once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. And you guys know how big I am about mindset. So this is all about just taking what you are thinking in your brain and trying to reframe it so that you are replacing any negative thoughts with positive thoughts. So something that you might think that would be negative about the summer or about, the burden or about, just the pressure of all the things that you feel like you have to do and fit into the summer, and turning that into what are some positives? What are some things we can make sure that we get in, right? So I'm going to read you some things, and I have my own things, and then I also found a list of things that I thought were really great ideas, summer activities that you could put on your bucket list if you decide to create this. And we are doing this as a family. So, one thing is make popsicles, right? Like that's something that I used to do as a kid, and my kids have actually started making their own ice, right? And they're basically popsicles without the stick. So you don't even have to have the stick. If you just have ice trays, you can make popsicles out of the ice trays. If you have the sticks, you can go to the dollar store and buy those little craft sticks and stick them in there, and make popsicles even out of your ice tray things. You don't have to have the fancy like schmancy things that actually make popsicles. You can just get ice cube trays and create your own popsicles out of fruit juice and water. My kids love them with just lemon and water, and they just put no sugar, no nothing, just lemon and water, and they call them lemon ice, and they absolutely love it. And really, for you as a mom, throwing that into your water over the summer, they're amazing. They're really good. Another thing you can do is sidewalk chalk. Of course, a pool day. Of course, we all think of that in the summer, right? But some of these things like go hiking. We love to hike. And so hiking, a lot of times, even when it is hot out, if you find hiking trails, it's not quite as hot because the trees, they provide that canopy and that shade from the direct sunlight. And so hiking is something that is, it's super fun. Like if your kids like the outdoors, this is an activity that we started doing a few years ago, and I wish we had found a long time ago because it is so fun to go hiking and the kids absolutely love it. We've taken the dog before, and that was not the best idea, but you can take your dog, we call it whippy dip. And so you can search in your area and find ice cream shops that you haven't been to before and just take a day trip, right? And go to get some ice cream that from a place that's super fun and it's just different. It's something new and different. Go to the park and have a picnic at the park. Plant a container garden. So this could be fun. This can be a fun activity for your kids. And this is a perfect time right now at the beginning of summer to start that. And then they can watch them grow, right? Like they can watch their plants grow in the summer. You can do it. Tomatoes are kind of hard, but you might even want to get a plant that's already started instead of going from seed. But going from seed is really cool. And you can do like lettuce. It only takes like 30 days for lettuce to be in full bloom. So if you guys like salad, you can grow your own lettuce and then have your own salads for the summer. Another thing that my kids love to do is to make believe. And so they make up plays all the time, but making up plays and just doing it outside, it's just different because it's outside, right? And so have some type of an outdoor performance, a play where your kids put it on. You can even invite some neighbors, you can make it really super fun. They can have tickets that they go give to their neighbors. Of course, they're free, right? A lemonade stand is something you always hear of, right? So that is something that your kids can do with lemonade, with baked goods. Like you can have a day of fun and make some baked goods and then have a lemonade stand, sell some baked goods. That will give the kids some fun money. And then you can go and spend their fun money somewhere, right? Like catch fireflies. That's something we used to do as kids all the time that we rarely do anymore. And I do not know why. So catch fireflies, of course, making s'mores, right? That is a super fun activity that you can do in the backyard. You can even do it indoors, really. You can paint rocks, painting rocks and leave them in different places for people. So like go to the park and leave some rocks like after you've painted them for people to find. That is a super fun thing to do. And then you're bringing a little bit of joy to other people when they're finding your rocks. You can do like DIY bubbles, like make your own bubbles at home and then use like jump ropes to make big, huge bubbles. We've done that before and it's really fun. You can also buy like the bubble wand things on Amazon, but you can also use like jump ropes and just make big, huge bubbles with the jump ropes and just look up. There's an easy DIY recipe to make bubbles at home because you tend to need like huge amount of bubbles if you're going to make these big giant bubbles, right? Something else you can do is go camping, right? Like I am not a camper, but I love the idea of camping. And so we had a camp. We set up a tent in the living room and we camped indoors, right? You could camp on your deck. Like you could make it super fun where they're in a tent and you guys are sleeping outside or even sleeping in the living room, right? And go camping one night this summer. Go to the drive-in movie theater. How many of you all remember drive-in movie theaters? Have your kids ever been to one? Take them to a drive-in. It is super fun. There's also like if you get on to Google or something, I'm sure that you can find outdoor concert series around your area. If you're big into music, if your kids like music, you can go to an outdoor concert. There's outdoor movies. Like we have an amphitheater at a park nearby that they a lot of times will show evening movies and just make sure obviously that they're kid friendly. Just check your local, like just Google it in your local area. I'm sure like we have a couple of publications around here that usually post that kind of stuff, but you do have to look for it. Like it's not, a lot of times it's not just like right there for you. You have to kind of look for it and then go and as a family and go to the park and watch a movie outdoors. It's just something different and super fun, and free. Usually all of that stuff is free. Find a splash park. So I don't know if you guys have any splash parks that are near, like we have one downtown, in Cincinnati where I am. And so you can just take the kids and they can run through and, bring a change of clothes when you do the splash park, obviously. But it's super fun because they go to the park and there's things to play with. And then there's a splash park and they can get all wet and then they can play on the things. And so that's something that's really fun. Run through a sprinkler, or do a slip and slide. I don't know if you guys have any slip and slides. We've had a slip and slide. We also have had those little splash pads at the house where they just have the little, they're not really a sprinkler, so to speak, but they have the little pad and then the water comes up out of the splash pad. So those are some great ideas. Go somewhere to watch the sunset. Like you could do a picnic somewhere and watch the sunset, or, if you aren't going to the beach, because the beach is obviously the best place to watch a sunset, but you could go somewhere to watch the sunset and bring popcorn or whatever it is and bring it and have a little snack and watch the sunset. I know that can get kind of late for the little ones, but that is a super fun activity that you can do in the summer. Play mini golf. You can home make your own ice cream or home make your own like frozen drink. So just make it fun. Like anything you can put in the blender and make a frozen drink for the kids and they think it's amazing. Banana splits is another thing that I always think of in the summer. And so you can make banana splits at home Flying kites is always fun in the summer. You also can create like a scavenger hunt for your kids. That is always fun. And you can go online and find ideas for scavenger hunts, or you can just create your own. Create an obstacle course, like set up an obstacle course in the backyard for your kids. There are so many things, and you can just create a bucket list. Sit down with your kids and create it with them. And then you'll have, instead of being pressured to come up with ideas in the moment or when things are getting like heated or when people are having meltdowns or, sometimes just a change of environment, doing something different is going to completely change the atmosphere. It's going to change people's attitudes, and you are going to see that shift that you want and take and reframe, again, taking the negative and turning it into a positive. I want to read one more quote. It's from John Wooden, and it says, "Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out." Things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out. So when things don't go the way that we hope that they would, when we can make the best of it, it is so good, right? Like I know that as a mom, sometimes you can feel that pressure to do all of the things. And I just want you to take the time for yourself to come up with things that you would enjoy, to come up with things with you would like, to come up with things that are going to make your kids happy. You are the only one who knows your family and your children. And you can go online and look at so many other lists and different things that you can do. I gave you some suggestions, but I'm telling you, this is something where if you just take a little bit of planning time. Again, it's about the planning. It's about the figuring things out ahead of time that will really help you to turn a negative into a positive. It will really help you to be prepared, and setting that intention for the day is also something that is super impactful. And so I'm closing it out here with one last quote from Theodore Roosevelt that says, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." So you know where you are. You know what this season brings for you, and you know what is going to make your family happy and what you can do with what you have where you are right now. And so I don't want you looking left or looking right, comparing your summer or the way you're doing things to what any other mom is doing, because you're amazing and you are doing exactly what you need to. And so I just want you to set an intention for the day, to not put the pressure on yourself for everything to have to be perfect, right? And to know that when things go wrong, that you can pivot, that you can have like an arsenal, a toolbox, a bucket list, whatever you want to call it, to pull from so that you can create some memories, some things that are fun to do for you and your family for this summer, and then we'll create your own memories. So I hope you'll take the time to do this. I also want to say that we are doing this for your life in Prioritize Your Purpose. We are taking what's important to you, figuring that out, getting to the root of what you truly want for yourself in this season and what's most important to you in your life, and helping you to move forward from that place, and so that you can be thriving, living an intentional life and living something that is going to bring you so much joy, and knowing that you can and will get all the things that you need to do done and accomplished, and you are moving forward in the direction that you want to for your life. And so we are doing that in the coaching, Prioritize Your Purpose, and you can find that at prioritizewithpurpose.com, prioritizewithpurpose.com/coaching. Go there, check it out, sign up for a session. And I hope you'll take that suggestion and take a few minutes and make a bucket list this week so that you have that to pull from moving forward. Because I want you to know that it's not about how many things you get in or all of the things that you have to do this summer, or, feeling like you have to run from activity to activity, right? Creating these small little memories with your kids will just create so much joy for them and for you this summer, and hopefully to take that pressure off. And that is what I want for you. And we're going to get more into this on Thursday and just the mindset and the comparison and just really how to take the pressure off of this idea of creating like the perfect summer. So we will get into that more on Thursday. So I will talk to you then. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right here on Thursday. Keep smiling, y'all.